We're going to everyone's favorite team here, the Atlanta Falcons. And a year ago, if they had some quality quarterback play, maybe someone being able to throw the football with some just brain cells, they could have snuck away with the division. But 7-10 last year, 3-3 in the division. Arthur Smith just not knowing how to use Bijan Robinson. Kyle Pitts was in the basement for another year. Tyler Allgeier's still going strong. And this is the man who can presumably get them over the hump. Kirk Cousins, coming off a torn Achilles with the Minnesota Vikings, gets 4 years, $180 million. Several people were fined on the Falcons for tampering, trying to get his contract going, loss of a draft pick, fines from the team to, I think, like the GM or something. But yeah, there we go. And thank you, I'm Vanilla Baby, for the follow. We will get to the Raiders coming soon. But Dom, can you pull me back? Can you pull us all back in, and we could talk about the offense here? And the two big pieces here: Kirk Cousins. Okay, you trade Desmond Ridder, you get Rondale Moore out of the Cardinals. I think it's easily the best trade that they can honestly ask for. They go out with the number 8 overall pick. They take Michael Penix Jr. They get Rook or whatever his name is from Clemson, but that's on the defensive side, so don't worry about that. This is a winning offense in this division. I had nothing else to say. This is a winning offense in this division. Bijan Robinson will hopefully be used with first-year Raheem Morris, who former Buccaneers guy. He was the interim head coach at the end of the Dan Quinn era after he was fired.
Lost the Super Bowl. Was the DC when they lost the Super Bowl to the Patriots 28-3. That whole thing. So there's also that. It's kind of funny.
Yes, he was.
Pretty positive he was. Like, I'm very positive. When he got hired and then I looked him up, I was like, oh, okay. Yep. At least he was a defensive coach. Maybe he wasn't.
He was the assistant head coach, wide receivers coach, and offensive pass game coordinator.
There you go. That's what he was then.
He was the defensive coordinator for the LA Rams when they won the Super Bowl.
Okay.
But he has now 22 years of experience under his belt from the Buccaneers of the old days with John Lynch and Warren Sapp, Derek Brooks. Hoping to make some noise again as once again head coach in the NFL.
I mean, this team just went 7-9 for 3 years straight. New head coach, obviously new quarterback, a quarterback that can handle an offense like this. Honestly, weapons like constantly. It's an offense I like. I like this offense. I think this is a clear first offense in this division. Could have been the Saints like we saw last year maybe, and that didn't really pan out.
Should have been the first offense last year, but they didn't have a quarterback or a play caller who knew what he was doing.
Yep, that's also true. We should see, like Will said, more of Bijan Robinson for real. I mean, this is a semi-deep, good starters offense with a quarterback that is a veteran that can throw the ball accurately, get the guys the ball. I mean, I like this offense. So
there's no holes in this offense. There's no Swiss cheese on this offense. It's one of the more complete offenses in the league, from the offensive line, receiving core, running back game, tight ends groups. I think Kyle Pitts is going to be an emerging man this year. I think he's going to be what Matt Ryan did in his for Kyle Pitts' first year. Make him emerge and just be a tight end that we haven't seen him since, year one and when he was in Florida.
Colton, do you like this offense?
Oh, Doc.
I
might jinx this team just like I did the Saints. This team should easily win the division. Now they have a competent quarterback in the building. Their defense is going to be good. We didn't even get to the defense yet. And again, we might see finally the most overrated prospect outside of a quarterback in Kyle Pitts finally, look like the Kyle Pitts that we all expected to, just like 3 years later. So yeah. Again, it's a good roster. And again, Bijan Robinson, we should see a little bit more of Bijan this season, even though he did have plenty of touches last year, just in the red zone. For some reason, didn't give him the football. I don't know if they were trying to save him for the longevity or what, but it makes zero sense. But Again, finally some quarterback play, and again, one of the most mind-boggling draft picks I've ever seen in my entire life with Michael Penix Jr., but we'll save that for another day because this goes down in my Falcons hate, and this team's just really weird. Yes, this is where they're at, and again, let's take a look at the defense because I think this offense is going to be going in the right direction. Will it take me away on the defense?
The defense, they did lose a couple pieces. I got to pull that up here. I am so delayed here. But Calais Campbell, one of the more known veterans in the league, he's not there anymore. Let's talk about their additions, which is only James Smith-Williams and Antonio Hamilton. But then on the other side, losses, Bud Dupree, Calais Campbell, Trey Flowers, Jeff Okudah, who they got for pennies on the dollar.
That's right.
Yeah, there's not really a whole lot of moves on the defense. I think the offense is going to be why they win games this year. I'm not overly sold on the defense, even though there's still some really good pieces all around. Drafting Rook in the second round. I'm not going to say that name correct at all, but
you can't say basic names.
The team has not had a really. They're like in the basement of like sacks over the last 5 years. I don't even think they have 100 over the last 5 seasons. They bring in Rook to maybe start igniting something. Grady Jarrett's still there. David Amiyata's still there. I think, on defense you have to get to the quarterback, and that's what you need in this league is getting to the quarterback. So I think this might be a bottom 10 defense. I don't really have much to really say. Jesse Bates, AJ Terrell still there. D. Alford makes his return. They have the Burns man himself and Kevin King. There's really, I don't know. There's nothing here that excites me on this defense.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I don't think the losses, you named some guys that were names, but they were names. They're all at the end of their career pretty much, except for Jeff Okudah, obviously. So I don't think those losses are incredibly impactful, but obviously, this isn't the best starting defensive roster that we've seen, obviously.
No, they're very lucky they're in a garbage division. So the offense, Kirk Cousins and the offense should carry the way because this defense is yikes. This might be the worst defense in the division. I know we just looked at Carolina. Carolina has better defense than these guys.
Yeah, and I said that about Carolina thinking, oh, yeah, kind of the Falcons had guys, but then now that we're here, yeah, I might have to take that one back. So we'll see. It's a toss-up. It's a competition, I guess. So,
yeah, Falcons having one of the worst drafts this year by far. Two guys.
Yeah,
that aren't
drafting a nice pass rusher would have helped, but take a backup quarterback. Like
that's
any other.
That's why you take Rook. That's why Rook's there.
Yeah, but
I know. I gotcha.
All right, let's see the schedule.
So going to the schedule here.
So small. I'm sorry, guys.
Oh, come on.
This was the schedule they produced for me, and I couldn't find another 2024 graphic schedule. Everything was 22 or 23, and then there's just.
It's all right. They might come up small. It's only fitting. This team might come up small.
Just short.
It was more about Plaster and Kirk in the middle. So that was kind of more what they were about.
Well,
Michael Penix, like right over his shoulder. That's what they should.
They made the tampering worth it in this graphic. So
this season could honestly, week 1 you go against Arthur Smith, who's now with the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's a money game right there. But then you have to go to Philadelphia with primetime Kirk. Maybe you start Penix because it's not Kirk. Penix could play when the lights are bright. But then you go against Kansas City. Then you go straight through. You have to run through the South. Then you face Seattle, and then you're on the road. Then you play Dallas, and you got to go to two of the hardest places to play in New Orleans and Denver. Yeah.
The back end of their schedule is pretty cake.
Yeah, look at that, dude.
That week 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, it's pretty favorable for them.
I think they could put double-digit wins up after I got to the end of the schedule and I was like, okay, win. But like, I think they could do a double-digit thing. Honestly, if they make playoffs, you didn't even ask the question yet. You know.
Yeah, what will make the season successful? I think the bare minimum is the playoffs.
Yeah,
It's nice if you win the division, and then it'd be really good if you make a deep playoff run.
Honestly, they did what they did because they were tired of 7-9 because Arthur
Tired of
Smith.
the Jeff Fisher stat line.
Yeah, Arthur Smith promised them better and then didn't do better or worse for 3 years. And then so if they have over 500 wins, which is 9, right? You go 8 and 9 nowadays. That's how it works. If you have 9 wins, that's already improvement. Then you get playoffs, good. You know, if you get first in the division, it's kind of expected with this team. So like, okay, but you know, if you get a playoff win, now we're kind of cooking. You know, but yeah. And what, Kirk's contract's 4 years? Is that what we're doing?
4 years, they could get out of it after 2.
Yeah, so like a playoff win would be cool as hell for them, where they're at and what they're doing, and from where they've been. That's kind of the ideal situation, is to have a playoff win this season. All right, like, you know, so that's where I think we're at.
I mean, if I think they're like even remotely competent on offense, they should win the division.
Yeah. I mean, they should win the division, but a playoff game would be kind of a plus going into the years of Kirk's contracts and the new head coach and everything. It's a lot of shakeup to expect way too much, but, you know, a minimum of...
We've seen, new head coaches and new quarterback duos. They've gone into the playoffs before and they've won it.
It's also not a hard schedule.
No, it's not
It's
a hard
really
schedule.
not a hard schedule at all.
At third place, it's really not.
Yeah, third place. So that's nice.
You get to play some West Coast teams at 1 o'clock, like the Seahawks, the Chargers. Like, you get the advantage on that very early.
Wait, do they have third place? Do they have the Saints not listening to Dennis Allen to thank for that, or no?
Well,
wait, no.
Dennis Allen would be a...
Well, it kind of matters. But was it that game that put them in the third place?
Yeah, but it's not like it was going to make a difference in the
No.
division.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't. Yeah, all right. Fair. Okay. All right. What do you guys... Let's move on.
Yeah, double